So this is Dave from Iron Blackbird Cycles, and we're doing a little bit of airbrushing on the Dragon bike today. This is all just laying in color right now. Won't look like much till I start adding in some detail. We got the fairing and a couple other parts done already. This bike, the whole bike is going to look like one dragon. So we're not putting multiple dragons on it, we're just putting one dragon on it. The head is on the fairing. The wings are going to be on the bags. The tank is going to be the dragon's belly. So, if you're trying to imagine what I'm doing, we're kind of just dressing in some scales where we think you could see them as you stand away from the bike. It's going to look like the whole bike has scales. We're not going to scale the whole bike. We're just doing the major parts of it. The rest will blend in as part of the belly. This was going to be a typical red candy dragon, but after the guy seen it, he decided that he liked the silver more, so we put a little blue in it and turned it into a chrome dragon for him. He's been liking that idea, so. Now these are basically scales, so what we want to do is give these scales some shape. So we're going to kind of run a spine down for each scale. And there again, that doesn't look like much, but here in a minute I'm going to show you something that's going to bring it all to life. Now this kind of looks okay, but still kind of looks not quite as good as it should. But if I come to this side, and I just cross some spines in this, and as Bob Ross might say, some happy little scales. So anyway, now you start to see the scales taking shape. When I put the second color, the blue in, they really come together. So what we're going to do is just go along here, knock in most of the spines, come back and hit the other side, bring it together. There's going to be probably some belly scales on the side here that we're going to do. When I say belly scales, if you've ever seen the bottom side of a snake, you kind of know what I'm talking about. They're long scales, they're not these sharp ones like this. So you can see the ones that are done. And then the ones that aren't, we're gonna come back in, get these. Of course, you can see now all the scales come to life on this one. We're gonna do the second one, but there's no need in putting you through doing the second one, just so you can see the top, the scales on the top. We're kind of adding some shape to these dragon scales. They're not gonna look like much just yet. We're getting the kind of the spine of the scale put in. We're just laying in a line right now. We're going to lay in the other line, which will make them come to life. You can see it down here where we've been laying in the backbone. Now we turn the paper the other way. We just lay it across it a little bit of a diagonal. And you see how it creates the kind of the spine there. And I like to tell everybody, some people try to make this too perfect. And life is not perfect, nature's not perfect, and if you make something too perfect, it's not going to look good. It's going to have this sterile feeling. It won't have any flow. So keep in mind when you're airbrushing stuff, perfect is not good. Nothing in nature is perfect. Nothing is laid down perfect. No tree is the same. No dragon scale is the same. You know, you want to make sure that all your artwork isn't the same, or nobody would want to buy anything else. So this is kind of where I'm at in life, is don't sweat it. And I just got to go over and catch some of the ones I haven't caught. Oop, got to get some paint. If you're seeing these on a short, tonight we'll have a whole video up of it. More in depth, you can take a look at it while you're sitting at home. Checking out YouTube on the big tube. I don't even know if most people even have a TV anymore. They're using their phone for everything. I just get tired of holding my phone. And I like to see stuff on the big screen. So these are all kind of set in. Next step's going to be putting some blue over these, but I got a couple other panels that I want to do scales on before we get to that point. So we'll be back with you in just a bit. So now we're working on the side panels. I'm starting where I'm starting for a reason. Because I'm probably going to try to put in some like right here. We'll start to turn these scales so they look like they're going to turn down. By doing that, is I'm kind of twisting them a little bit each time. Also, what that does is give the effect of larger scales up top, smaller scales in the bottom. Most of this lays under the seat, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to fade these dragon scales in under the seat. And now we're going to work the straight edges like we did on the other stuff. And I get it that some people might, some good airbrush artists, they're going to think I'm doing this real sloppy and fast. Actually, what I'm doing is showing you simplified ways of doing stuff, still getting a good result, and doing some really cool work. And, I could mask everything and not freehand anything, and I could make sure everything was, there again, perfect. Not my bag. I do good work. I do killer paint jobs. And I can show you how to do your own stuff with an airbrush. It's not going to take so much away from you that you're going to spend 20 years learning how to airbrush just to do simple stuff. Stuff like this is what I call kindergarten work. I could teach a kindergartner how to take an airbrush and do some of this stuff. It's just simple technique. What we like to do is be able to show the average person how to do this stuff and not spend a fortune. And show him how he can get out there in the garage with a simple airbrush. Doesn't even have to be an expensive one. Just a simple airbrush and do some cool stuff. I can sit down with an illustration board and work miracles. I've done portrait stuff. Used to do leather jackets at bike meets. Listen, when you throw somebody's leather jacket up on your easel at a bike meet and you go blasting paint on it, you better be good. And somebody's liable to kick your ass if you screw up their leathers. And like I said, this stuff right here is what I call kindergarten work. It can be done quick. You don't have to mask a ton of crap, all you guys that want to comment and say, you know, oh, well, anybody can do that. That's exactly right. Anybody can do this. Takes a little bit of practice to learn how to use this thing in your hand. And that's what it's going to take. You know, get this airbrush in your hand. So there's no sense in me showing you do the same thing over and over and over. You got plenty of video there to watch. I got to do this other side cover. Then we got the bags. The bags are going to get the actual wings. And the front fender is going to get a little bit of something. Haven't decided what yet. We got the tank over there that's going to get a badge on the side, and then it'll have some dragon scales and some belly scales on it as well. So I'll get back to you when we get started on the bags or the front fender or something like that. And I'm going to go ahead and finish this up. Okay, so we're going to put a little blue in these to give this more of a chrome effect. In here, we're going to kind of dust that back in. This blue also has metal flake in it, so as we go over these, do some shading, adds a neat little tone of metal flake in there. Kind of sparkles in the sun. Yeah, sorry for the exhaust fan noise, but I've got to run it for a while. Get a little thick in here. So I'm working on some scales on the front fender right now. I think we can deal with that. We'll get some blue in this, and I think we'll clear those parts before we start working on the other. Dave from Iron Blackbird Cycles. We got almost all of this paint job done except for the bags and the tank, and I'll be doing those tomorrow. And, She'll be ready to go back together soon.